Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'm painting roses and forget-me-nots in a glass vase. I hope you enjoy the video, and if you do, please help the algorithm find me by giving me a thumbs up and hitting the subscribe button. Thanks for watching. This is my usual palette of water mixable oils with titanium white, cad yellow light, raw sienna, raw umber, French ultramarine blue. I've also added cobalt blue for this picture, as sap green, alizarin crimson. The first thing I'm going to do is paint in the background using French ultramarine blue and some titanium white to make it more opaque, and I'll add sap green and raw sienna probably to that. I usually start with the blue at the top and I get into darker colours on the way down. I actually, for a change, I'm going to add some yellow. Well, it's turned a bit greenish because of the blue on my brush, but that's okay. So I won't bore you with this bit. I'll see you in a minute. So I'm going to use my kabuki brush to just blend in this background a little bit with circular movements. Give that tabletop is how I'm thinking of that raw sienna that I have at the bottom. I have some raw umber in there as well. There we go. That's good to start off with. I'm using raw sienna and I'm going to just quickly sketch in where my roses will be, the buds, the leaves and the vase. I'm using some white to sketch in the vase, and this might be a little bit small, but I'll see how it goes and adjust it later maybe. I'm using alizarin crimson to put in the center of the rose, and I'll be using titanium white mixed with alizarin to bring in some petals. But I'm just using neat alizarin at first. I'm using sap green to put in some dark leaves. When I put in the petals of the rose and I draw the paint across those dark green leaves, it will make the petals look more transparent, more delicate, because the green will sort of shine through the whiteness of the petals. I've mixed alizarin crimson with titanium white, and I'm going to put in the first petals, the ones furthest away from us, on the opposite side of the rose. I'm putting in the sepals, which, because the buds are not open, they sort of curve around the petals, the furled petals. It's a lovely day here in Southwest Florida, and I have the door open so you can hear the birds out on the pond. We have some ducks and we have some Canada geese. I'm using straight titanium white to put in some petals. It will pick up the pink underneath. The rose will be pink, but the highlights will be straight titanium. You really only see the tops of the petals closest to us, except for these lower ones. I do a sideways swipe for the ones in the middle of the rose. And you can see how the lower petals, they pick up that colour from beneath. While I have white on my brush, I'll work on the vase. I try to keep a balance in my painting and work on the entire picture. I don't like to leave any area undeveloped. I haven't left much room, but I'm trying to suggest a reflection in the table as well. I'm going to use the cobalt blue to work on my forget-me-nots. They actually will be a mixture of blues with a yellow center, and they'll be rather loose because that's the way I like to paint them. I don't like them too defined, so we'll see how it goes. I want them to be peeping out from under the roses. The roses are the star of the show, but I do like to see them, pink roses with forget-me-nots. I think they look really nice together. They have 5 little petals, and some of them have almost a heart shape to them. But I think that's a bit too fiddly to do. So I'm just using my brush to put in the petals more casually. I think these buds look a bit too big, so I'm just going to scrub them out and redo the sepals. I'm going to use cadmium yellow light to dot in the centres of the forget-me-nots. While I've got some yellow on my brush, I'll just add a few lights here and there. I'm going to put in some leaves using sap green with a little French ultramarine blue. On roses, you usually see leaves in groups of 3, and I'm just putting in the basic colour now, and I'll probably add lights to them. I think they're dark enough. I'm going to work on the glass a little more. I keep adding white because as it dries, the white dulls down a little bit. And to get that brightness, I just go in every now and then and go over those strokes. But with glass, whatever's in the vase will be reflected in the glass. So I'll add some of the green of the leaves or the blue of the forget-me-nots. That one stroke of raw umber gives the shadow of the vase sitting on the table. I'm adding a few more lights here and there. That's my dog, Tommy. He sometimes barks at the birds. I'm using some darker blues, French ultramarine, just to give some depth to the Forget-Me-Nots. I'm putting some blue in the glass. The Forget-Me-Nots would cast a little reflection. Reinforce that a little bit, and I think I need to make this vase a little bigger. Light would travel through the glass of the vase, so I'm putting a little splash of it on the table. I'm using some raw umber and raw sienna to dot in the centers of the rose. Putting in a twiggy bit, I just think it balances out the lush roses and flowers. I think this might need a little adjustment though as I go on. Well, as you can see, I scrubbed out the other twig. I thought it was just too clumsy, and I'm trying to do another one. I'm using alizarin crimson this time. I think they look a little better than in raw umber. Well, I'm just picking away at things now. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button to see more of my videos. And thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it.